Great morning, great morning, great morning. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the It's About You radio show here on WGRB Media, the voice of the community. I'm your host, Maurice McDonald. As I always say, every Tuesday morning, I have the privilege, the honor, and I would say the opportunity to share some amazing information, interview some amazing guests. But this show has been designed to help you, inspire you, motivate you to be the very best. My goal each and every week at 8 o'clock in the morning is to get into your ear and hopefully into your heart to help you to become the best and not make excuses and push forward. Those of you who've been listening to me for a period of time, you know I've had the opportunity to talk about my three amazing careers. One is a law enforcement officer, one is a professional school counselor, and now as a college instructor, helping people. So I've been serving and been a change agent, helping people for 4 decades. And I believe that is truly my calling. And I don't take that lightly. I really appreciate that. And oftentimes, many years ago, 40 years ago, should I say, I was interested in radio. And guess what? Radio didn't come to me till 40 years later. And I realized all that's part of God's timing. And that is so important. And because it is 8 o'clock in the morning, I know someone's having breakfast, someone's driving in the car, or you're at work, you're listening. So I don't take that lightly and hope you have an amazing day. And I'm glad to be a part of it on Tuesday morning. And as always, I always have my morning quote of the day each and every Tuesday morning. And today's motivating quote of the day comes from Richard B. Sheridan. Richard B. Sheridan said, "The surest way not to fail is to determine to succeed." The surest way not to fail is to determine to succeed. Oftentimes, if you start something, there will be obstacles. But if you are determined to succeed, meaning nothing's going to get in my way, I'm not stopping. I don't care if there's a temporary setback. I don't care what it is. But he said the surest way not to fail is determined. Now, failure doesn't necessarily mean that it's over. Sometimes you must fail to succeed. Willie Jolly, great book. He talks about a setback as a setup or a comeback. Oftentimes, failure is not over, and is the fantastic Les Brown always talks about. It ain't over till I win. And the idea is continue, determined to make it through, despite obstacles, despite some setbacks, despite some bruises on your knees, some scarred knees. And sometimes your knees are scarred because you got to stay on your knees praying your way through your struggle, whatever it is that you face. And this is so important to face on this Tuesday morning, guys. I thought this was a fantastic motivational quote of the day by Richard B. Sheridan. And he says, the sure way not to fail is to determine to succeed. And your morning motivation quote today has been brought to you by MauriceMcDonald.net. Go to MauriceMcDonald.net and learn about the amazing P84, all about gut health, ladies and gentlemen. All disease begins in the gut. So go to MauriceMcDonald.net, MauriceMcDonald.net, and learn all about your amazing gut microbiome. Ladies and gentlemen, I always meet a lot of interesting people constantly. I network with a lot of people. I'm looking for people because everybody's got a story and everybody's been through something. And today is a young lady that I met at an event over about a month ago. I happened to be there and she was there and I saw her. She was very vibrant. I saw the pink colors and I saw people come into her table and they were talking with her, and I wanted to know what it is that she does. And we've had a conversation, and during that conversation it hit me. I said, oh wow, this woman's got a story. She's helping some people, and people who've been through some things. And so with that said, we had a conversation, and so she's here with us today, and her name is Charlisa Herriott, and she has a company. I'll let her talk about it. And pretty much it's called, Crushing Chemo Chick. Chemo, that's a clue right there. Chemotherapy, ladies and gentlemen. So you can imagine what we're going to be talking about today. Absolutely. So if you know somebody who's been through some challenges, cancer and all kinds of things. Turn the radio up time now. Get tuned in. So I'm going to let her tell her story, and we're going to get in it. Ms. Herriott, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to grace your platform here this morning. I feel so honored.
It's an honor to have you here because based upon the conversation we've had, I just knew that the Creator had our paths to cross for a reason, because there's so many people need to hear what it is you do, why you do it, whatever. So tell my audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yes, I am Charlisa Herriott, affectionately known as Coach C, the Crushing Chemo Chick, and I am a cancer survivorship coach, a cancer care minister, cancer care advocate, and mental health advocate by profession. I reign as Miss Cancer Warrior 2018, and I am an author of a children's book entitled Healing Hugs, a mother-daughter story of love and resilience. And my co-author with that is Monique Jackson. And I'm just so honored for the journey that I have treaded for the last 17 years. I am a thriver of a three-time thriver of a rare form of cancer. And the rare form of cancer is called thymoma, and it's cancer of the thymus. So for the initial diagnosis was back in June of 2007, and then I had a reoccurrence in December of 2018, and then the third was in June of 2022. But today I stand before you as cancer-free, no evidence of the disease noted within my body. And I'm grateful for that healing.
Absolutely, we're grateful. We're going to stand 10 toes down on that, absolutely. And no doubt. That's the good news, because I know, as I said before, there's so many people who that's not their testimony, or they're struggling as we speak. And so, so tell us about what led you to go down this road to, as you said, that you're a minister as well, you've been helping women. What led you to do that?
My journey through cancer gave me more than just. I realized it gave me more than just a testimony. It actually birthed a mission within me that God has shown and revealed to me, that not only that I made it through the first, the second, and then the third time, but there is a purpose, for the pain that I had endured. And so he shown me that the illustration, I was already kind of operating in the sense of a coach, but didn't have the title of a coach, where I was helping others and assisting them, sharing advice. So one woman called me, here and there, and wanted to ask information as far as when they were newly diagnosed, or where should they go to receive treatment, or, even caregivers and family members will say, well, what do I say, to that loved one? I don't know what to say. What are the words to say? And so I would actually, share the advice to them. And so the Lord was showing me that this is what I desire for you to do in this season. And so I actually, took forth, and said, okay, if this is it, then I'm going to go out there full-fledged. And so I did, and started in 2018 with the business as Crushing Chemo Chick. And so now I am branching out and still doing the expansion. I have gotten to the point now, not just only one-on-one one-on-one individual sessions, but I also will be starting up with group sessions as well, and monthly group sessions where survivors and thrivers will be able to meet with me, and then we can walk through the process of creating that healed space. So like sharing the golden nuggets that I have taken to stand before you as healed, whole, and restored. And so I wanted to share those same golden nuggets with other women as well as men in a group session. And so it's going to be there's healing in the hush. It's going to be a healing circle that's called There's Healing in the Hush. And so I'm excited about that. And also, too, that I have, the Lord has led me to create greeting cards. So I have a line called Fight Girl Fight greeting card collection. And I have greeting cards for those that are newly diagnosed that loved ones can purchase for them, to ones that are thinking of you and praying for you when they're going through, and as well as those that are celebratory when they have come upon their completion of their treatment, whether it's chemotherapy or radiation, and they ring the bell and you want to celebrate them. Then I have the cards that have the right words that you're searching for, and that can be very helpful and received well among that loved one. So I'm excited about that as well.
Yes, I'm sitting here listening to this, and my ears are just ringing right now, because the idea, first of all, I love the word healing in the hush. Could you tell a little bit about that? How you came up with that, or what's that healing in the hush would be like?
Yes, healing in the hush. Oh my God, I was doing an interview a couple of months ago here with the with WSIC, I believe, and radio station there, and I was sitting there talking, and the Lord just shown me, like, just pop it into my head, like, there's healing in the hush, because I was always having my moment of stillness where I would just have to get away from all the chaos, all the commotion. Sometimes we can have so much going on that we can't even hear the voice of God anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I know that was the foundation for my healing. It was the foundation of my faith, and it's the foundation of who I am when I know my identity in Him. So then I said I have to steal away and actually get into a moment of silence so I can hear Him in this season. Like, Lord, help me through this, to navigate this thing. What I'm currently going through it's not easy. I really don't understand what's happening and why it's happening. And so the Lord will tell me to steal away. And He said, but there's healing in the hush. So when you can get into that moment of stillness, when you can get into that moment of quietness, there's healing that's taking place. When there's in silence, because the Lord is silent, you have you in the moment of silence, of solitude, in order to separate you so that you can be sanctified, mm-hmm. You can be purified, you can be able to rise up from the miry clay or from the pit. Mm-hmm. And then you can get to the point that you can actually reign in the palace. Yes. So there's healing in the hush, is that we have to let go of those things that is causing confusion, distraction, delay in our lives. Yes. And so we need to focus and hear the voice of God as He speaks in a season. Not seeking man's approval, mm-hmm. but what does God say?
Yes, because, it kind of reminds me so much of when people talk about going to your prayer closet or going to your private space. To be there so that you can hear, because and I'm one thing I've learned from my counseling background is to never say anything like I know how you feel when you don't know how someone feels. I know when people hear a diagnosis, that C word that mm-hmm. comes out, and I know a lot of times the temptation for panic or that I'm dying, I give up. Mm-hmm. Can you speak? I think you're highly qualified to speak to that. What was it like for you when you heard the C word?
Wow. How mine actually started was from a car accident, and I was going home during Mother's Day weekend to see my mom, and I was in a one-car accident, came out, no bruises, fairly well, but it ended up going to the ER, and I hit my head during the course of the car rolling, and so the doctor decided to do an x-ray, and from there, that's when he notated that was a spot that they had seen on my chest. And so they sent me over to the pulmonologist for further examination and testing, and they did a biopsy, and then when I went in, I was referred from the pulmonologist to the oncologist, and the oncologist came in and he stated that that's what he had seen, that it was cancer. And I was like, devastated at that moment. I was by myself. My family was in another state, and it was just heart-wrenching. I mean, just dreading to hear that. And at that moment, I cried. I broke down inside. But the nurse who was there, where God actually shone his hand to let me know that I was not alone, is that that nurse that was there, she looked at my report, and she said, Herriott, she said, and she asked me if I knew, family, which was her husband's last name. And I said, yes, her husband's from the same hometown. And then when she stated his first name, I said, oh my God, yes. I said, that was my neighbor growing up, like we were neighbors for years, and our families are so close, And so she was like, well, you're not alone. And she said, you have family right here. And so from that point, God began to show and reveal his hand along the way. And I knew then that this sickness was not unto death. I refused to let it go there. I refused to even allow my mind to even think of that. I became steadfast in his word, and I stood firm that he stated by his stripes that I am healed. So I'm promising, God, that's what you promised me. I stand firm on your promises. You're not a man who needs to lie, nor a man who needs to repent. And what you said, I know that you watch over your word to perform it, and it shall come to pass. And I'm standing firm on it, flat-footed, and believing in just that. And by me taking on that with a positive attitude, outlook, having the family support system, I knew that I was not in this thing by myself. My family was in it along with me, and they fought along with me along the journey. I had friends that were there that would come in and flew in for my girlfriend. Anita flew in for my first chemotherapy. She even bought me my first wig, just to make the journey just a little bit easier. I just was fortunate. Even the church family for the state I was living in, Atlanta at the time, and my church family rallied around me. My bishop, who was also a thriver of cancer as well, and right before I had surgery to remove my entire right lung, because that's where the cancer had spread to the right lung. And so before I had a neonectomy, he said, you must believe. And from that, I said, Lord, if you heal Bishop Paul F. Morton, that he can stand before me and be cancer-free, healed, I know that same healing virtue can be showered down upon me. And so from there, and that's what led me here to where I didn't believe it was a death sentence, and nor do I still think that or believe in that, and nor do I even try to convince others that it's not. Right. It's your perspective.
Yes. Ladies, I'm sitting here. I know my audience, if you're driving, y'all just pull on over. Just pull your car over. Get your shout on right now. And because I don't want you shouting while you're driving. If you're sitting at your desk, you can just pull away from your computer for a second, put your hands in the air, as they say, and wave them like you do care, okay? That right there, whoo, my. Because, see, I want you to understand, I heard so many things in what you said. You know, I've heard people say, I have faith. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to say I have faith when I'm not tested.
My God, that's true.
You know, it's easy when I'm here. It's easy to say I have faith, but when they get that report, and you and of course the tears immediately. That's normal. That's the human side. You know. Right. And then when you found out that the sign, I love it how God will give you a sign. When you had a nurse, out of all the nurses, that was not her day off. Out of all the nurses in the ATL, there are lots out of all the hospitals, all the floors in the hospital that you could have had. Come on, listen. Hallelujah. You had this nurse, okay? Yes. And that nurse that let you know you ain't by yourself. See, okay, see that was not a coincidence. That's called a God incident. You know, and I like when you said that when you used the word thriving.
Yes.
Not like cancer surviving. You said cancer thriving. Speak to that when you mentioned about Bishop Morton. What do you mean by thriving?
Yes, it's thriving because, you know, it's just like when there's a hurricane and we understand that a hurricane is coming. And so they tell you, you know, to evacuate and people try to escape the storm, right? Right. And then when you escape the storm, then when the storm is over, you're like, "Ooh, I survived it. I made it." But then there's the aftermath, right? So what do you do next? You survived the storm, okay, so what do you do next? It wasn't any intentionality beyond the storm. And see, that I'm looking at, there's life beyond the diagnosis. That's what I stand firmly on. That's what I share with my clients. There is life beyond the diagnosis. So if there's life beyond the diagnosis, then there is life even beyond the storms. So it's not just surviving. I'm not getting to the point that I survived it, but I want to thrive. I want to live again. I want to love again. I want to be able to serve at the level and the intensity that I was before again. You know, so it's not stating that life is over. Mm-hmm. It's just that it's another chapter and it's just beginning on another level.
Oh, another chapter. Oh, and now thank you so much. And I see people who may not have gone what you have gone through. They may be in a position of going through a divorce or whatever it may be. Yes. So they need to hear your message that there's life after the divorce. That's right. Now, sure, you were hurt. It was devastating, or whatever it is. There's life afterwards. You know, you lost your father, or your mother passed away. Yes, that's devastating, and you get the counseling you need, but you got to thrive after it. Right. That part.
That part, because we're pressing. You know, the word of God said, "Press towards the mark of the high calling." So it's that we have to press our way through some things. And that survivorship is like, it's still a part of the navigational process of pressing your way through. You know, you got to be pressed forward. You know, sometimes you may be pushed forward. Sometimes you may be pulled forward. But it's still going to be forward movement that we have to go, you know? Yes. When we pull forward, sometimes we're so stretched. And I feel like the Lord is pulling me in certain things in this season. And I said, "Lord, you're stretching me." But he said, "I'm stretching you for the good, for the better good, you know, because the goodness is going to come from this, you know." Yes. And so I think that if we look at it, it's thriving. Thriving is just not just surviving. It's just not living. I mean, it's just not being existing, but we're living. And there's another slogan that I use is sipping on the healed life. And that's what I am. I'm sipping on this healed life. And the healed life is being in my space of proximity that I feel the peace of God. In my space of proximity, that I can feel, that I can look at myself in the mirror and still smile. Okay? I'm not trying to critique myself. I'm not trying to say, oh, you need to do this or you need to. No, I am grateful for where I am and who I am, because I know whose I am.
Okay, we sound like we just going past the collection plate because we've had the sermon already. I thought I came here for an interview of a radio show, and we have turned this into the altar call. Always, so somebody needs to hear this. I know people are listening and enjoying this. Hey, listen, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Did you know all disease begins in the gut? That's right. Your gut is your second brain, guys. It's connected to your liver. It's connected to your hormones. All things start in the gut. That's why you need to get your gut right today with P84. Loved by him. Awesome product called P84. 84 fruits and vegetables organically grown all around the world to help detox every organ in your body, provide all the nutrients, everything you need in your system to get your gut right. Simply go to MauriceMcDonald.net. MauriceMcDonald.net, MauriceMcDonald.net, and learn about P84 to get your gut right so that you can have an awesome body. We're back, guys. We're back, and we're here. For those of you just tuning in, boy, you have missed a treat up until now. We're here today with Miss Charlisa Herriott, and let me tell you, and she's been dropping nuggets all about different areas here, but she's also has a business called Crushing Chemo Chick, and she's been a survivor. She is a survivor and thriver of a rare cancer for 3 times, ladies and gentlemen, and she's a woman of God, as you can tell, and strong on her faith and helping other people do a lot of things. And you left off, we were just talking about how people survive things, and even after survival, you had mentioned something about there's even life after the survival. Is that what you said?
So there's life beyond the battle. Yes,
okay.
There's life after survivorship, but there's life beyond the battle, whatever the battle may be, whatever their battle, their storm, or their circumstances may be, whatever is the struggle that they may be, tossing and turning with. There is life beyond that, and that's thrivership. It's learning how to dance even in the rain. It's reclaiming your joy. Once you have gone through the sadness, okay?
Yeah.
It's walking in purpose after experiencing all the pain,
Yes,
It's choosing life abundantly. Because that's what the Word of God says. He said, I came to give you life and to give it to you more abundantly. So, God, if that's what you promised me, then that's what I expect. That's the expectancy. That's what I'm expecting to receive, is the abundance of life. And not just living abundantly, but living whole.
Yes.
That I am complete in Him. I'm not defined by my circumstances. I'm not defined by my battle. I'm not defined by the diagnosis. But I am refined through that process.
Right.
That I become whole, healed,
right.
and well.
Yes.
And those are the 3 terms, those are 3 nuggets that I like to share with my clients, is how to become healed, whole, and well. Well enough that we can speak well. And speak well is like we're speaking life over our lives.
Right.
I speak those things that are not as though they were.
Right.
Well, you speak healing. Even though you may not necessarily, the scans may not say it. See, the scans on that report of man have yet to get caught up with what the Word of God says. So that scan has to come into alignment with God's Word.
So
So that's what I stood firm. The third time,
yes.
it was 9 months. And they were trying to tell me, like, different forms. They can't do chemotherapy because it has already damaged my heart. And they couldn't do radiation this time because I was already radiating that area and it couldn't be radiated twice in the area. And they couldn't do surgery because I only have one lung. And they think that I wasn't a good candidate to make it through the surgery. So I was like, and I didn't qualify for the immunotherapy or targeted therapy or any other modern research because it's a rare form of cancer. So they don't have much research out there still yet today. And I said, Lord, everything that was placed upon the table by man was taken off. But the only thing that is still upon the table that I placed on there is you working a miracle. And I said, I'm standing flat-footed and believing that you can work a miracle. Just like with the woman with the issue of blood, you healed her body immediately. Just like the man who was blind, and you removed the mask from their eyes, and they were able to see. Just like Lazarus, who was dead for 3 days, and he heard his name, and he got up, and he walked. I said, God, the same God I know that can heal my body today. 9 months, I tell you. And we know 9 months, birth happened, right?
Right.
Baby's born after 9 months. Well, the birth didn't happen. It was 9 months of pain, not knowing. And, the doctor's actually sending me home and saying, "Ma'am, we're prepared, for me to leave this earth." I said, "Oh, no, that's not what the Lord said. The Lord said that I am healed." So I went for a second opinion to the City of Hope, and then they was trying to make a determination of what we're going to do. They had to put my case before the tumor board, and then so it went before the tumor board, and you had all these doctors there sitting there trying to come up after looking over 17 years of medical x-rays and scans and MRIs and PET scans and all of that, trying to determine what would be the course of treatment for me this time. And so my oncologist stated, okay, well, we'll do chemotherapy again. So I was taking a risk. And I went in for the first day to start chemotherapy. The oncologist decided to say, hey, let's do another scan. So he decided to do another scan. We did the next scan. And it came back, no evidence of disease. Just what I was praying for is that God, the only thing I had left on the table was you working a miracle. He did just that. I prayed, he heard me, and he answered. My God. You can't give up.
Oh.
In spite of what man says.
Yes.
Whose report will you believe? And I believe in the report of the Lord. And I still stand firm. I just had another scan just last week. Still states from June 2022. And that happened on 3/16, March the 16th of 23 until now.
See, this
still
is
no evidence of disease.
Listen, I know now the people driving a car, just cut the car off on the side of the road. Just cut it off. And by faith, especially people going through something, I need you to run around the car 7 times, okay? I just need you, because let me tell you, how many, listen, giving up, it can be so easy.
Yeah.
And even after the tears, you keep walking. Even after all the diagnosis, and when the doctor said, let's look at it again. Let's look at, let me, and there's no trace of it. You see,
None.
ooh, my. This is going to be our testimony hour. That's what it is. I might have to come back again with you just to interview about other things, but this going to be a praise report show, okay? This is a show. Hey, and I think about this. I guess when you how do you support both individuals currently, I guess, undergoing treatment and those who are in remission, or do you kind of work a survivorship with those as well too?
Yes. No matter where they fall upon the spectrum, newly diagnosed, in the midst of the fight or they're on the thrivership part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can work with them because even on the thrivership, there's still anxiety that we deal with. There's still the aftermath, that we must handle after whatever the course of treatment may be, because you have the side effects that you still deal with. The cancer is gone, but you still deal with the side effects.
Right.
And so that's where I can come in and help them to navigate through that.
Yeah. So it's a situation. I know I was gonna wait to give your information to contact, but we're gonna do it now. We're gonna do it again before the show goes off. So how can people reach out to you?
Yes, they can. I'm on Crushing Chemo Chick on all social media platforms, inclusive of TikTok and with the younger generation and LinkedIn as well, that they can find me there. They can also actually make contact with me through the website at crushingchemochick.com. So you can find me there as well. Crushingchemochick.com.
So, yes, somebody should be typing right now, because at the end of the day, because here's the beautiful part about this today, and I know now, I know why our paths cross, because this needs to, you were on WSIC, another station, that's great. But the thing of it is, people know somebody going through it.
Yes.
They may not be going through it, but they're supporting people, a coworker, a friend, a cousin, a niece or nephew who basically given up, who basically have decided that this is their plight. There's no hope for me. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's family members are at their wits end, don't know what to do to help somebody. And so that's why this is so powerful, to be able to, they can share this with everybody that they know. I also want to talk about that greeting card you talked about, because I know I've gone to, the local department stores and the different pharmacies, and they always have a little card section there, Hallmark cards, and they got all these cards. You look through them, and they're so generic. No specialty, because you look for that card that's going to say the right thing.
Right.
And I like how this came about, because when people get to ring that bell, because I know there are two areas of ringing bells. When you have individuals who've been incarcerated, it's a program that I work with. People who've been incarcerated have never gone on a job interview, and now they're out of jail and they're going through this program, and they go on an interview and they ring that bell when they get hired. First time they've ever worn a suit and tie. First time they've ever done something on the right path of life. And they ring the bell, and everybody runs out and supports them. Hey, you did it. You can do this now. And they're so proud. And then, of course, the other bell, whether you're adult or children, when you get that good news, and then the love from the support and everybody else. Talk to us about that card. What spearheaded you, and some of the thoughts that you have when you design the cards.
Yes, where I found out just what you stated, that you will go in and look for a card that will be, speak to the situation that your loved one or that person is undergoing, and you didn't see it. And I wanted something to really speak to for those who are going through cancer and to the point of being celebrated. So this is where you can have a reminder of where it shows the courage and the hope and the healing that I have designed in each one of the cards. To the illustrations, to be more specific about the illustrations that I'm putting forth on the cards, so it can encourage the fighter, it can celebrate survivorship, it can show the strength, where it can strengthen the person in their faith and to continue the fight and to continue to hold on, and it provides that tangible comfort for that loved one, because it's still yet. Many people have gone away from greeting cards and sending them out, but it still serves the purpose of something that's tangible, something that shows the love and appreciation that the person has for you, and even stating that, hey, I see you. It's almost like Elroy, the God who sees. Not only does God see me, but my family sees me. My coworker sees me. My church member sees me, because they're thinking about me when they sent me this card, you know. And that is encouragement, and it also helps in the healing process at the same time. And so that's what I wanted to do, was to actually, you know, spread the awareness of hope and give that message through the greeting cards.
Yes, and so going forward, I know this is early stages for you perhaps, but how do you plan for someone maybe even to get your card?
Yes, they can actually, if they're making contact with me on social media and tell me, because there is a link, and I'm actually getting into the process where they can actually go to the website and see the link and be able to purchase from there as well.
Oh, yes, ideally, that is perfect. And give them that website again.
It's www.crushingchemochick.com.
crushingchemochick.com. I'm keep repeating it, guys, because I want you to go there to get it, because at the end of the day, there's nothing like something that's personal. That, like you said, you see me, I felt, because that card, I can pick it up and read it on one of those days when I'm not feeling so good.
Yes, absolutely.
I read it once, but I can go back and read it again.
Right.
And
so you can have that reassurance.
Yes, and that person was thinking about me, because you know there's always a saying that people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. We've heard that many times.
Yeah.
And people will always remember how you made them feel.
Right.
And in this time, how someone feels, I know for a fact, and you and I both know with the counseling background, the idea of this is that mental and emotional piece plays a major part of that physical healing.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, could you speak to that?
It does. It does, because it all starts with your perspective when it comes with healing. If you don't believe in healing, how can healing be manifested in your life? How can you walk in it? How can you live it? How can you speak it? You know, or how can you demand it? You know,
right.
So where we set up boundaries. You know, if I demand healing, then I demand peace. And not confusion and chaos. Yeah. But it still comes back with the thought processes. You know, what's in your mind? What is your thought? What are your thoughts lying upon? Is it just that, I can't be healed? And if you have that thought of doubt, see, if I had that doubt during that time, those 9 months, I don't think I would be standing here with you.
That's right.
Because it would have manifested physically. Because we know the mind and the body go hand in hand. So anything that affects the mind, if it's not, addressed, then it will eventually show up in the body physically. And anything that may affect the body physically will, show and be manifested within the mind. So we must ensure that we have a good thought process, that we're speaking positive, and we have positive thinking, that we're not thinking death, we're not thinking this is the end, we're not thinking that we're not good enough, we're not thinking those things. But if we're thinking on these things, on the good things, and then the good things that shall manifest, the positivity that shall manifest. So that's what I'm a firm believer on affirmations.
Yes.
And that you have to affirm. Right now I have a challenge on social media, and it's called I Affirm Her. And so each day I share what is the I Affirm Her is. And so the day is I affirm her that she is blessed. And she's blessed because she believes that the Lord will fulfill his promises.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So if I'm blessed because I believe in that, just like when Bishop Morton told me, you must believe. So I believed in it.
That's right.
So, and I think that it goes back to that, it's your thought, your mindset.
Yes.
And
I think, and sometimes I refer to it as your mind's eye, being able to see that part. And I'm, it's one thing for me to believe, but I do know this. I have to be careful of who I allow in my space.
Absolutely.
So that means the family. I'm going to speak. Yeah, can you speak to the people, the loved ones, and making sure they're locked in, 10 toes down with you, and not speaking or giving off that negativity in your space?
Yeah.
Can you speak to that?
Yes, absolutely. There were family members that I had to separate myself from. And not that, I'm just trying to be mean or anything. I knew what I was seeking after. I knew what the goal was that I was pressing towards. And I didn't need any hindrances there. I didn't need any obstacles, to be placed there along the way. And if there's obstacles that came along, then I removed them, or I removed myself. And so that's what I was intentional about it, that I didn't communicate with those individuals that thought differently or that didn't believe what I was believing. I didn't need them in my space. I didn't need them, to be attached to me emotionally, mentally, or even physically. So I separated myself from even family members and friends, right. Friends that were just not supportive. Maybe they probably believe that healing could happen, but, if they say that they're there, because you have some people, that they would just say, I'll anything that you need, I'll help you. Okay, so if I do come to you and ask you, and then you kind of give me the runaround, then you really didn't mean what you said.
That's right.
And so I knew that I had to cut that person off. Even with those individuals that may have separated themselves from me because of, they didn't know what to say. Well, I didn't have time to try and figure that out or worry about that. I didn't need any extra stressors. Well, if you're not equipped for where I'm going, that's just all to it. And so you have to jump ship as well. Then you jump ship, because my ship is not going to say, it's not going to, I'm going to go out and sail. It's not going to, I'm not going to drown out here in the middle of the ocean.
Right.
So.
Yeah, your ship is not sinking. And, it's not sinking, it's going to be sailing.
That's right.
And that part, because you planted your flag and you stood on that promise. And I need people, and sometimes you only need a few people with you.
Right, that's right.
The word talks about where two or more are gathered. That more might be three.
Yes.
Okay?
That's right.
I don't need everybody, because somebody's telling me one way, but their body language, and every time they're around you, they're crying.
Yeah.
And every time they're around you, they're giving off this, I don't really have the faith. And it's okay. And by the way, let me just make sure my listeners know, and she's not talking about leaving them for life.
No, not at all.
She is talking about for a season.
That season.
Yes, while I'm in the trenches, I need to know if, like the people said, and like the military people say, when I'm in the foxhole and the enemy is shooting at me and they're throwing grenades my way, I need to know who's in the foxhole with me with the shovel digging this hole deeper for us to hide in. Right. I don't need nobody, or if we're on the boat and we're both rowing and I look behind you, you crying, you ain't rowing. I need you rowing, okay? And so row or get out the boat, okay? It's one of those deals, okay? Because your weight is carrying me down. Your weight is pulling me. And Absolutely. And that's not about mean, that's not being anything. That's being real. And at that point, it is survival. And I'm in this mode, I got to have people with me. And that's the point. Since you've been doing this and helping people, I know without breaking confidentiality at all with people, but have there been stories where you've had to work with people to get through their process as well?
Oh, yes, definitely. There's one client that she this was the second diagnosis, and so she kind of like was struggling with it, thinking that it was, her family's like really trying to fight, and like, no, everything is, it's going to be fine. They're still being optimistic about it, and then she just like she wants to give up, and so that's the tug of war that's there. But I think that you have to make sure that your faith is built on a firm foundation. And it can be unshakable.
Right.
And so I try to assist her with, sometimes we have to go back through that reconstruction, and to rebuild. Sometimes we have to tear down those things or those thoughts or, that were shown as a hindrance towards us, so that we can rebuild and start rethinking, positive things and to replace them with. And so that's where I kind of helped her with. It's like she had to, tear down those negative thoughts, those thought, errors that in her thinking, to where she can start building up. Then she can take on the mind of Christ and not of the world.
Right,
and so many times that we're reacting to the world and we're not necessarily responding.
Right.
So I think that helping her through that process to rebuild and set that foundation to ensure that there aren't any loopholes that are there that can help her through, and it can help anyone who's out there listening.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Did you know there's a battle going on inside your gut? That's correct. Good and bad bacteria are battling daily for your health. Introducing P84, Love Biome's brand new awesome product to help your gut microbiome to get in order. Imagine 84 fruits and vegetables grown all around the world in good soil for good health. A 5-year-old, 80-year-old, it doesn't matter. We all have a gut, and you need P84 in your gut to help you feel better, sleep better, and also detoxify every organ in your body. Simply go to MauriceMcDonald.net, MauriceMcDonald.net, and you can order your P84 today to help get your gut in order. Remember, P84, go to MauriceMcDonald.net, MauriceMcDonald.net, and get your gut right today. We're back, guys. We are back, and this time has gone by so quickly. I said earlier, today was the testify. I know my grandmother and have is listening down, because I see her how she getting her shout on with this testimony, because it's all about the faith that you have. Those of you, if you're just joining us now at the end of the show, my guest today, Miss Charlisa Herriott, let me tell you, she's been dropping nuggets all day. Excuse me. And one thing I've been hearing you say throughout all of this, I know why now you call it crushing chemo. Crushing chemo. In the time we have remaining, can you just take about a minute and talk about how you came up with crushing chemo?
Oh my goodness! Because when I think about and start to look back at all the different things that actually occurred and happened along the journey, it was nothing but me crushing it. It's like, okay, it rised up, or, it appeared along the pathway, but I had to tear it down. I had to trample over it. The power and authority that the Lord has already given within me, that I had the power within me to rise from this. And I had to crush it. So then it came up when I was talking with my one of my coaches, and she said, crushing chemo, you crushing it. She said, you are definitely crushing it in life. She said, crushing chemo chick. And it was just from there.
Oh my! See,
Crushing.
see. I know you can relate to this when people say, "What's in a name?"
Yes.
What's in a name? Because we know name of Jesus. Okay, we already know what's in his name. We already know that name. And the idea of every company has a brand. And sometimes they come up with a brand just because it's a name they threw up there. But your brand, you lived it. You live in it. And the idea that you're crushing chemo, chick. Oh my goodness. Listen, I love it. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, because, it's just that I was just found myself to be pressed. I was just pressed on every side. Like when things were going good, had good numbers, and then something else would come along, and we couldn't do chemo today, or we had medications. They had to make adjustments here and there, or I received an infection, or I had to end up getting a blood transfusion. It was just some of everything that you could possibly name that I actually went through along the journey there. But I found myself that I was crushed and pressed, but I wasn't crushed. And going back to 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, it's like I was pressed on every side, but I wasn't crushed, perplexed, but I wasn't in despair. I was persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed. And that's when sometimes I don't know who it may be for the person that may feel like whatever their situation or their circumstances or their current condition, that they may find themselves in, that they're feeling like they're oppressed. But I have to let you know that you're not destroyed. It may knock you down, but you shall get up again. And that the strength comes within. I think it states over in Proverbs where it says that you can prepare a horse for the day of battle, but the power to win comes from the Lord. So the power and the strength to fight that battle comes from the Lord, and that's where he finds it. You already well equipped with it. It's nothing that you're missing. You're not lacking anything or missing anything. You're complete in him. So you already have the power within you to rise up. You have the power within you to overcome. You have the power within you to champion whatever is that obstacle that you're being faced with today.
See, I was going to ask you a question to speak to somebody who might be going through, but you just did it. I didn't have to ask that question. They're going through it. They just heard what you said. And this is, to me, huge when you truly cannot walk by sight in this battle.
Jesus.
Because I believe walking by sight in this battle, you'll be knocked over the first day. Because
absolutely.
Because this is a long battle.
Yes.
And you cannot be, get swayed by what you see. And that goes back to making sure that everybody who's on team crushing chemo, we all locked in.
Yes.
And no matter what the obstacle is, the idea of it is, so if you would give your website out again so people can reach out to you.
Yes, you can reach me at crushingchemochick.com is the website, on all social media platforms as Crushing Chemo Chick, and there I am. Yes.
Yes, indeed. I just want to say, first and foremost, it was no accident us meeting. Secondly, I know that we're going to have to come back again. I definitely want you back probably in October, and because we had that conversation that you and I also linked in that domestic violence space. And I'm just thinking that, yes. And I'm also thinking that you may have to be anytime you want to come, okay? Because I'm going to give you a green pass. Because, see, you have blessed me today, truly. And I'm so glad you're here with me sharing this outstanding information. And so, guys, listen, you've heard this information today. Reach out to her. If you know people, I hope you wrote that information down. You may not be going through it, but you know somebody you've been praying for somebody. So you got a coworker. You got a fraternity sister. You got a fraternity brother going through some stuff. Because she said she worked with men too. Because understand, that's another whole topic when men go through this battle, okay? But with that said, guys, we just thank you for being here today. We also thank this guest. Listen, make sure you go to MauriceMcDonald.net. Go to MauriceMcDonald.net and learn all about your amazing gut microbiome health. Get your gut in order. We'll see you next Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the It's About You radio show, WDRBmedia.com, because we're in the building.